Hey guys, and welcome back to the Mind Space. Today we have a really special video for you. It will be related to the altered limited format, or otherwise known as draft. Today I also have a friend with me. I mentioned him in the first video. He gave me his unique. Welcome to Sascha.
Yay! Thank you for being part of the mind space here.
Welcome to the space.
Yeah, we dive right into our favorite card game format.
Oh, for sure, it's absolutely. Draft is for me very, very strong. I prefer draft because I perform better in draft than I do in constructed at times.
I think for Altered it's very special. The limitation, which is not only a limitation in this card game, so draft and sealed are called limited formats because you have a limited pool of cards you build your decks from, which makes things for me easier.
Yeah.
But in Altered, it also opens up the possibilities to match your
mix and match and get the best out of the faction that you wanted to get out of it. Like today, I was able to mix and match something to get Lara Festival working for the first time ever.
He did. We were part of it.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna bring the video up on screen, and we're gonna get started, and we'll explain to you our process and thoughts through the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's my hands you see over there. This is some video content here.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
I wanted to get my nails done. They look alright. We open up the first packs. We just before it is the first official Super Elf draft we had here.
Yeah, it is. It's the first official one. Straight
the
up
first official event.
Yeah.
We were 8 players. Yeah, everyone was quite pumped.
I was excited. I love drafting and I love Altered, and I'm so glad to be part of the startup to this format.
So get the rubbish away, get the foiler out, and then we are here with the first decision to make. And the first pack is always the most exciting one. We see some decent cards over there. I probably would never start with a hero.
I wouldn't start with a hero either. I would definitely choose my hero towards at least after the halfway mark, where I've started to figure out, okay, my deck's going to be doing this and that. This hero is kind of the best suited, and hope I can get it pulled around.
Yeah, that's usually the way I'd say. So I'm quite struggling because there's some very good removal. The sticky note seals is very potent. There's a Bravos Vanguard, which
Bravos Vanguard is in there as well.
That's an amazing card.
It's amazing to start off with. I'm a fan of All In, but that's too early.
Yeah, for me as well. I don't like to pick such a more like a build around card if you want to say that the other Lara dice rolling stuff.
The Lara dice rolling.
I'm not a fan of that playstyle in particular.
You don't like trusting your hands into the fate of the gods, I assume.
No. I'm all for the strategic gaming. So also in our second, so that's my third draft of Altered, with a 7-person draft with one of my boxes where I just kept my stuff.
Yeah.
And we had a 6-person draft with a box at my place where I drafted bureaucrats, and I ended up second. And that's why there's one of my favorite cards in there. There was a question about out of faction. No, it was some question arise there. Yeah, I think there was some confusion there. Some very new players on there.
We did have some new players today. We did, yeah. And there was a complete new draft player, and it was a complete mix. There was you and myself that are extremely experienced in the drafting format, and then there was some people who had no experience whatsoever.
So there's one of my favorite cards, not the Bravos Vanguard that I'm pointing out there, but the Bountiful Meadow.
Bountiful Meadow is fantastic.
You can tap it to get the next bureaucrat you play this turn. Cheaper.
Oh, it's the out of faction Bountiful
It's
Meadow.
Out of faction.
I've just noticed it's blue because the Muna one reduces the cost of a plant by 1 the next one you play.
There's also a bureaucrat in the out of faction Ordis.
The Ordis Attorney
over there, and I was like, nah, I don't start picking bureaucrats again.
I would have picked the Ordis Attorney there. I've got to admit, I would have.
That's a pretty cool card, but also the out of faction rare is the same as the Ordis common.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Which is from the power level, it's not much better. That's why I picked the
I
Bravos
found
Vanguard.
that pack in general hard. I might have also been stuck between the Vanguard and the Attorney.
Yeah, for me it was the Vanguard in the end because it's a very, it's an upgrade to the common version,
Mm.
and I thought there might be some strategies revolving around one special character.
Look at that hand.
And there's
so
another
good
Attorney.
as well. There's so many good choices there.
The glare is sometimes
Apologies for the glare. It is present, but you should be able to see most cards before the glare takes them away.
So there's only one Bravos card in there. That's always what I'm looking for, the synergies with the cards I've picked before, to not get into that's the out of faction.
That's the Artifaction Attorney. No.
The
in faction.
Tomoe Gozen. It's out of faction. It's Lyra.
It's Lyra, not Bravos.
Yeah.
Okay. The camera quality is it's convinced me it was Bravos for a second.
Yeah.
They're not far off Lyra and Bravos.
So there's only Achilles for how is it pronounced in English?
Which one?
Achilles.
Achilles.
Okay.
So the CH is a hard
Yeah.
sort of K for us on that
Achilles.
one.
But there's some bureaucrat over there, some nice order stuff. And I also know with quite a lot of unexperienced drafters, and people don't really start picking bureaucrats from the beginning.
No.
I am eyeing towards the Bountiful Meadow wheeling around the table, so I get to pick it later on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it will do.
Did you have any concern that I would have picked that up? I was the exact opposite from you by then.
You could, but at that point you would be in another direction already. Or
yeah.
it would be super...
You'd have to gamble on I didn't just happen to pick bureaucrats at the same time, which, for the record, guys, I didn't pick bureaucrats at all. I went for the Lyra Festival build.
Yeah. So
Sounds fun, doesn't work.
Yeah, in that case. I picked the Attorney here, which is the same power as the out of faction rare we saw before.
It's now a new hand.
That's a Gulrak there. There's a Kappa, which is a decent Bravos card. And John
d'Arc.
The rare
Joan
one.
d'Arc.
Joan
Joan
d'Arc.
d'Arc. You guys, you're gonna have to correct me on this one, and I think that's obviously a French name, but the pronunciation eludes me.
So I'm eyeing the
Joan
Kappa
d'Arc.
and the Jean.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike
I thought she was higher statted than that for a 5.
it is you get two
2 Orders Cadets. to
two
come with
artist
it.
cadets on
Okay.
each your expeditions. That's why I think that's a pretty decent orders rare.
At this point, with the way you started picking, I probably would have taken that by now. Don't think you have another option in there.
The
In
Kappa is a
gates,
pretty
but-
decent one
The Kappa, yeah.
for stats, but I'm picking that, and now I'm deciding on, all right, I really feel like the meadow will wheel. I'm gonna start picking the orders cards, so the player to my left will leave me the orders cards from the packs. So
Coming back around,
yeah.
yeah.
So we're drafting clockwise now, and the next pack will be counterclockwise. So I'm trying to send the signal, hey, there are no orders cards
There's no
coming
orders
here.
coming this
You
way,
don't
yeah.
want to pick that faction.
I can't remember who was sent next to you at the time.
Onel did,
Yeah.
which funnily ended up with an order stack, actually. But
It's a missed signal somehow.
yeah, but he didn't have a single bureaucrat.
Clever. Oh, that's
So-
a tougher hand.
Yeah, I'm not yet completely convinced on the team fight tactics. No, what is it called? The teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah.
There's
Oh,
another
Achilles has
Achilles.
come back around.
The red is decent with
Red season.
Ordis
Yeah, the
and
Ordis. Is it the Ordis Bastion? The one that gives a boost for every character that comes onto the, or is that,
Yeah.
or does Ordis do that to just tokens? I can't remember. There is one that's just tokens, but I think the Ordis
there's
one.
the common version.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
non-tokens, I think, and the rare
And the rare version includes tokens, I think.
yeah, or the other way. No, the rare version is a 4-cost, which includes
Okay, yeah.
only characters. So we ended up with, you saw it there?
Yeah, it was teamwork training you just put down.
Yeah. I opted for the first removal piece. I just had the John d'Arc, so I'm probably going I'm in Orders. Every hero in Orders creates
Practically every hero in
Yeah,
Orders.
yeah, yeah.
By hero we mean character hero. They're like the real named person. They all create. Is that something? Is that a fact? They all create a token.
The Athena, is that
Athena. Isn't Athena? No, I'm thinking
That's
of
an
the.
Axiom.
It's because I've seen her in Axiom today. That's why, and I'm pretty sure that's her out of faction.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure we will get more tokens, and the team fight training should be a decent removal. Also, fun fact: you can get rid of tokens. They are cost 0.
They are cost 0. Yeah,
In fact,
they are considered cost 0.
So there we see I think one of the best removal pieces, the cloth cocoon, the Lara one. And
Oh god, yeah.
Always when I see that card, it's like, oh, I could go into some Lyra for some removal spells, but I go with the carrier here to furthermore send the signal.
Is that the one that targets a fleeting, anchored, or asleep character and then removes? Yeah, I was caught off guard by that today. I was caught off guard by it.
For
completely.
3 mana, it's just amazing.
It's the one card that stops Lyra Festival from going off, and my first opponent just went, nah.
Let's not
It was not happening.
I mean, and usually characters you want to get rid of have either anchor. Some of them have anchored, or came from
something
reserve.
that doesn't get interacted with at the moment is boost.
Yeah,
that has no
will
interaction. It will come eventually, but right now, boosted has no interaction with another card other than the fact that being boosted exists.
Yeah. So we got a Haven trainee there. Is it? No, it's the Haven Warrior, right?
Yeah.
That's a decent card with decent stats. And there's another Jean d'Arc. But that's the common version, which is cheaper. And also
but does a bit less, right?
Yeah, just puts one.
It just puts one token down.
I'm pending between those two.
And starting to get a bit weaker. Of course, as draft tends to roll on, for those who are new to draft, as of course the hands start to get smaller, the good cards are gone, and you've got to start weeding out stuff you know you're gonna need but isn't that important. So this is a good place to start looking for your lower early game cards at times, because most people have picked their end game first for some reason.
Yeah, or some removal.
Removal.
Yeah, because those cards are rare.
By far. Removal is premium. We say that for any TCG, and it has not changed. Removal is premium in Altered as well.
So Sascha, put the cards not into the sunlight, please. So here I'm wondering to see the Bravos Bastion so late in the pack.
Oh,
because
the Haven,
I think that is a card you totally can build around with any resupply cards. That's such a good cheap card.
It would surprise me if you didn't take that right now. Yeah, I would be so surprised if that you didn't take it.
I went for the.
You're second guessing yourself. It's understandable. It's understandable.
Very close for me, but I'm also like I got the Orders Carrier as a landmark.
Yeah.
And how many landmarks can I play in the early game and not lose too much tempo?
And not too much with it. Yeah.
So I'm opting for the nice mountain and token.
I gotta say that was hard.
It was. I was wondering for such a hard decision in that late in the pack.
Yeah, that was the fact that it was still in there that late was, for me, baffling.
Let's see. So we got also a pretty crazy card over there that late. The Charge.
How? Yeah, Charge is absolutely premium.
Which showed me that on the sides where the cards are coming from, there's not that much orders picked.
There can't be. To be fair, I can tell you straight up that at least for in front of you two, I couldn't say for much, but there was a lot of Lyra Muna.
Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah,
there was also a rare Shenlong in there.
I did see the rare Shenlong, and I was gonna comment on it, but I was like, you know what?
Yeah, the Charge just fits.
I never saw that Shenlong. Or maybe I did see that Shenlong, but
you had to.
I had to have seen that Shenlong. I don't know why I didn't. Probably because Lyra Festival.
And here I gave some time for the video to explain how I was hoping to have the Meadow wheeled.
Oh, you did get it back?
Yeah.
It did wheel back?
It did wheel back.
That was a gamble and a half. Well played.
Not that much, because especially unexperienced players don't. And usually, I'd say for draft, you should never settle so early on one specific.
No, you
direction.
shouldn't.
It's more like I got the attorney and some other nice order stuff. At that point, it isn't that valuable yet for my deck.
not to wouldn't be to anyone else either in that.
But I also knew that there was a council in the next pack where I picked the the what was his name? The judge thingy? Attorney.
Yeah.
Objection. Objection.
Don't sue us, Capcom.
Please. So yeah, we got the meadow and
then you took the council.
bureaucrats.
It's not a surprise you took the council.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're pretty committed to orders.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Quite open for a third faction. There's a Gurak, and I'm considering this there because maybe I don't get Varu and Mag passed over by some reason. And Gurak is a decent hero which with all
Gurak and Toxin,
with all the token creation, they all get boosted.
And you're looking to go up to the mana mark to start then taking over the game.
I think Open the Gates, I'm not a huge fan of it.
I see its application. Oh, wow.
It's just a boom in the last two cards. And I was like, okay, probably it's Axiom for my third color to get some removal.
Yeah. The fact that Boom went all the way around and nobody picked... I mean, Axiom was, for me, very... At my end of the table, very free.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we saw the cards a bit. Quite happy with first pack. It's not what I expected after the first pick. I thought like a little bit more Bravos stuff, but all we see was Achilles, which is a pretty good card, I think. But I'm always a bit more inclined for the cheaper, more flexible stuff than just biggies.
Looks like it's just such a good start. It's such a strong start.
Pretty happy with that.
Oh, I know who you had to the left of you there. And that would have been Scott.
Yeah.
Didn't he also take in orders?
Yeah. I was wondering.
Which is crazy. You had orders in front of you and orders to the side of you, and yet you still ended up with that much of an orders deck.
I can explain that.
The flexibility of Altered and Limited is absolute bananas.
Yeah. So we skip to the rares. There's a council, which again is basically for me only the common council.
Yeah.
From the power level. It's an out of faction. It is in the faction I'm playing. There's an Anubis, which is a pretty decent card with token strategies.
I gotta admit, even though the rares are there, I'd probably, by what you've picked so far, the Anubis would be my choice.
Yeah, I'm also not 100% convinced if I want to go all in on the bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Because I had a draft with them and maybe want to try other strategies. But it's also tempting because last time I was into Izmir orders bureaucrats because there's some out of faction Izmir, like the orders attorney we saw in the beginning. But I'm tempted between those two. And now I'm considering which one could wheel. I think rares getting picked earlier because they're rares.
Yeah, because they're rares.
Even if it doesn't matter too much.
They just shine. That blue gem is just like, pick me.
Yeah, there's more of the artwork. So I'm going with a rare here and hoping that the Anubis. I do a quick shuffle so my next guy doesn't see which card I was eyeing.
But that's the right call at the end of the day if you're building into Bravos. If you want to kind of keep yourself on the Ordis Bravos without going too hard on Ordis, then just making the most sense. There it is. There's the Ordis Bastion. Surely you picked that straight away. Unless that... Okay. Wow.
I was like, there's so many cards. There was a Bravos Bastion, right? But I was like, okay, I will play some tokens, and probably I don't play that many cards from reserve when I'm putting my guys asleep and stuff. The trainee is also pretty decent, but I think that's one of the best cards.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. You're gonna walk away with the Quetzalcoatl.
If that green guy wields, I know what my third color will be.
Yeah. Question is if.
So yeah, a little bit massaging my hand.
I mean, what were you thinking at this point in general, as you were
Of the
drafting,
draft?
of how you were feeling?
Yeah,
in terms of what
I
you were
still
doing?
felt like Orders is quite open, which later on I saw many decks included that. I was very happy to pick 2 bureaucrats after I got wheeled the medal.
Yeah.
So I'm at 4 right now. Yeah. 1 attorney, 2 councils, and the Quetzalcoatl. Here we go. There's the Sigismund. And I'm still like, okay, maybe token strategies, but I don't like picking heroes that early.
Order Spy's premium. Order
I
Spy
really
is
like Order
very
Spy.
good. Very good.
But this one is better. That's
a
rare
yeah.
version.
No, that's the rare version of the bouncer.
Yeah,
That is the rare version of the bouncer.
It's also sabotage.
It's also
but
sabotage.
has a from reserve gain 2 boosts.
Yeah, no.
Which is like, yeah, okay, I can pick just that, and
it is a big tip when you're looking at things and going, hey, that's premium. Check that there's not a slightly better version in another faction in that pack as you go through.
yeah, exactly.
That
We
bouncer is
compare
key.
them there because of from reserve it costs more, but it's for sure. And there's an intimidation.
Intimidation is also kind of premium. That's a hard hand to work with. But I'm gonna take a good guess. The bouncer is the winner there. Yeah.
Having some more control elements with token strategies is always helpful, because there might be some answers like the giant guy.
There's a couple. Son of Yggdrasil or
No, the Atlas. Yeah. Which can be a pain for order strategies. And
gigantic is rough.
You want to get rid of that. So there are some bureaucrats.
There's a few at that point.
First, there's Varro and
Mac. Surely you were asking for that at this point.
But also 2 bureaucrats in there. And wouldn't you consider to have this card wield the hero? So the
hero has the highest odds of being wheeled versus anything else, or possibly Isitok.
I think we're at 10 cards. So there will only
maybe a couple of them left.
Two cards left, and I was considering what card has a chance to be one of the last 2 cards. Is it Varro and Mac?
Celestial Blast is in there is the problem. Celestial Blast is definitely one of the 2.
Last cards?
Yeah.
You say?
Yeah, it's 7 costs in a draft. It's too high.
Very expensive. It's also shiny rare. It's
okay. You didn't want to chance it. That's so fair play.
And also, there's still 2 bureaucrats in there. There's the chance to get one of them
come back. But you did have to go through, and now we know that there was at least one in front of you and one behind you.
Yeah.
It's got to survive 2 Ordis players at this point.
So there's a Monolith Legate, which is a bureaucrat and pretty great. But there's also a rare of these guys. When you control a token, you get to resupply. And I think I value the card advantage here.
Card advantage.
A bit more.
Yeah. I mentioned this in another one of my videos. Card advantage, resupply, and anything that gives you draw is always going to be better.
Yeah.
In the long run.
So just checking here. After all, I'm not sure on the pick here in the end, because sabotage is basically the same value as resupply.
Yep.
And it has the additional value of being a bureaucrat.
Sabotage really kicked me in the teeth this draft, to be honest. It caught me off way more than I expected.
This was an interesting pick, because I like the Vanguard there. I don't care about the Orders Trooper. But the mana channeling is... I'm still considering, if I don't get many more bureaucrats, I would not want to play Varro Mag. Then I'd be tempted to play Gurak.
Yeah?
And then the mana channeling would come in very handy. To get 2 turns earlier on the 8 mana. That's why I picked the...
That one goes off from You have to pay 5 for it, but
Yeah.
they're just top decks. The 2
2 into mana,
mana.
and then you're on 7, and you need 8 for Gura to have
to
your
start
tokens.
stop having defender on the tokens. Yeah.
And I was like, getting the 2 turns earlier.
That's painful pressure.
Yeah, there's a defender bureaucrat in there,
Dorothy.
but also Dorothy, and which I also consider it. That's an out of faction. It's not as good. It's basically the Izmir common.
Yeah.
But we are not into Izmir.
We're not in Izmir, so you don't have that as an option.
So that is, we have removal against synergy here again. And I'll think. No, I know what I've picked, but
the Hua Mulan is also an option,
That's
but when
pretty decent.
as long as Dorothy wasn't there.
Yeah. I'll go for the synergy here.
Yeah,
I think generally the
I don't think you would have been wrong to choose either. I don't think you would have been wrong.
maybe in the end Dorothy. So with in retrospect,
Hindsight
which
is
I know,
2020. You know?
yeah.
A lull moment in the draft, it seems.
Yeah. We can talk a bit more about what we got here. Okay, we go on. You can see, yeah, there's a Keelan generator, which I'm considering because giving my my bureaucrats some boost, or the tokens some boost. I was like, yeah, why not? There's nothing else in there. I'm still not into a third color.
It's a good little permanent. Definitely.
I think in limited can run with it, especially with a deck that has some card advantage.
Yeah.
You can deal with the hand card loss.
I mean, I saw some of your games and how many cards you were playing.
Yeah.
That little extra boost on one of your tokens could have meant the difference between advancing or not in some cases.
So here's for sure one of the first mistakes I think I make draft, because can't really see it.
I'm not seeing you had your hands a
So
little
you
too high.
see the
for this
Muna
one.
Druid and the meditation training.
Yeah.
I couldn't see what there. Maybe
You picked the Muna card though. I don't think you had anything.
Was it the paint? There was not the paint prison in there, right? I picked one rare paint prison at some point. Maybe we will glance over later on. It wasn't very visible. I wish I picked the meditation training. I didn't thought about the synergy of having anchored bureaucrats instead of sleeping bureaucrats.
Oh god, yeah, you want anchored bureaucrats.
That's so amazing.
Oh, that's where you find that another Haven went round.
Yeah.
We spent like 5 minutes talking about Haven, and there it is, just like
it's the third one we see.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I mean, for the record, guys, I would have picked it. They would never have gone around it had I picked Bravos to play. I have not picked Bravos, to my utter misfortune.
Yeah.
Because
So,
you can see Bravos.
look at
so
that. No
free.
one is
That's
picking
another
Bravos.
Shenlong and intimidation. A Shenlong and an intimidation managed to go down.
I picked the cheap removal all day, every day.
And the
Let's
fact
see.
is, those cards went by me.
There's a bureaucrat in the last 2 cards.
And you got the wheel round. I can't even believe that. You are one of the luckiest people I've ever met.
It's all strategy, my friend. It's all strategy. You hate pick on the artist first, and then they come around. Sometimes.
So
So
at this
let's-
point, you are absolutely swimming in good content.
Yep.
There's just everything you could possibly have wanted is really falling
So
into
yeah,
your lap.
that's a paint prison. I picked the rare paint prison.
Okay.
I think.
Why would you
Well-
call that a mistake? Is the question, because I
Yeah.
find Paint Prison to be pretty good. The problem is it's in a color you didn't really want to play at this point.
I could.
You
I'm
could,
still
yeah,
between
you're
Boom
still-
and Paint Prison. That's why I picked a removal
Mhm.
from another color. So I'm like, okay, I can still go into Muna instead of Axiom as my third color. But I think the meditation training, I didn't thought about how good bureaucrats with meditation training are.
Anchored is by far something you want if you can get your hands on it with orders.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yep, and for bureaucrats especially, because you don't need to have a sleep bureaucrat. You just have to have a bureaucrat at noon.
Yep, that's it.
And I didn't thought that through. That's something Later on, I recognize it after drafting 2 times with them.
So you open a pack again, throw away the extra card.
So there's a cloth cocoon,
There's a cloth cocoon.
which I really like, but then I see the Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, well, okay. So there we are, back to just one card straight up screens outside of the pack.
So cloth cocoon is quite close here for me because I just picked the paint prison.
It's
There's
another
also
one of
Beauty
those.
Sleep.
There's another one of those. Yeah, Beauty Sleep's fantastic. It's really another one of those where you are not wrong for picking the Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah. There's the Brassback Hive, which probably come in later. Not here in the draft, but actually, what happens to the games we are recorded?
That is a good point. We'll mention it again at the end of the video, but the games, we are currently in a collaboration with Tales of End. He was very nice enough to record this part of the video for us so that I could take part in the drafting part, and he will be hosting all 3 matches for a game from each round, and that will be done with commentary.
Yeah.
And there will be a link in the description below.
It will. So there's the Orders Carrier Rare, which I'm not a huge fan of, because at 5 mana, I'm not really into playing landmass. But
that's heavy.
If I would have gone for the Gorak strategy, I think that is a decent card.
It's playable there with Golrak, but
put like 4 worth of stats. Golrak. But there's the rare Hua Mulan.
You had to.
Which is just 2 cost.
You had to. That she just continuously is just a continuous presence on the board that you don't have to rely on, and it burns a sabotage on something lesser than something more important later on, like your bureaucrat.
Yeah, it actually worked like that. One of my games.
Oh, good. Again,
yeah,
it becomes it's strategy.
Yeah,
we think alike in some cases.
Yeah. So yeah,
look at it. It's beautiful.
That's so rare.
I
it's
need
1/2/2 just for 2.
Don't try to scan that, guys. We've already scanned them.
Yeah. There's some people that need some time on the table because, as we said, the first time drafting,
new players tend to they don't have the.
We had some players that were very new to Altered, and other players new to draft. And there was an Atlas, a teamfight training.
The Categear. Look forward to my next video, guys. That might or may not include the Categear.
I'm also considering the Brassback Hub. I think if I would have gone into the Gorak, that would be a safe pick.
Yeah. Is that still only giving you a brass bug though?
Yeah.
Not Ordis tokens.
It's the Brassback.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think both the Atlas and the teamfight training are decent here. Especially because Atlas would be a good card against me.
You would hate pick the Atlas to prevent it from being a
No,
problem.
I could play it myself.
I mean, yeah, you could play it yourself. I had Asmodeus hit me really hard today for no reason other than it anchored and then had all input on it for a 6.
For 6.
So it was an 11-11-11. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Anchored at 11-11-11. Yeah, I lost that game, guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't have removal on hand.
Yeah, I got with the training because removal in Orders. We haven't seen sticky note seals.
No, we haven't, have we?
I think there was one in one of the first packs. In the very first pack, there was one. And there's an Ozma, and Ozma's pretty great. Draws a card. But there's also...
Oh, physical training. If I had seen that, I would have picked it. But I imagine you're about to take that away from me.
No, I'm not the one. I'm here like... Okay,
somebody else
still
does.
Not sure if I go into Muna, because I only have the Paint Prison, but I also have the Boom for Axiom. And I was like, okay, Ozma is a very great card for me here. I'm reading something there. Oh, that's... Is it the... Yeah, that's the rare... the out-of-faction...
Foundry Armorer.
Yeah.
That creates a brass bug from reserve.
Yeah. And costs only 2. Because that's the upgraded... The better...
The better version out of faction.
Yeah. And that's always something that tempts me. So I got there. Got with it. There's a Mana Eruption. Removal in Bravos.
That Lyra Festival, I'm pretty sure, works its way around to me, and that's the second one I pick.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the hand, by the time it gets there, ain't great. For me, anyway.
Again, I wish I would have considered anchored meditation training before, because there's one in there. Could have been my second meditation training at that point. I picked the removal.
Discard one of your mana orbs. I'm not a fan of that interaction. Discard your mana orb to create removal.
Me neither, but draft very often comes in one last. Yeah, Altered is like that anyway. With it's very crunchy in the end.
Oh yeah, it can get a bit.
Having the right removal at that time
can be what you need, especially if you're getting rid of an exhausted mana orb. Because it doesn't. You don't need to discard an active mana orb, guys. That is an exhausted. You can get rid of your exhausted one.
Some tiny gin in there.
Try to win on that turn, though. God grief me. Try to win.
But there's also Monolith Legate, and that is the Sabotage Bureaucrat. There's also Isitok in there, and I do like that card. But not that much the 6 cost.
I don't like the common. I think the rare is the only real one you can think about.
Yeah. So we got with the Sabotage Bureaucrat there. Pretty happy with that. That was the main card in my last draft. I think I had 2 or 3 of them.
I'm kind of grateful I didn't face you this time. I don't think my festival would have worked out with you either.
I had 5 removals for the 4 removals for the festival.
Great. So my landmarks would have been absolutely unsafe. Perfect.
And then probably enough removal for the other guys. And there's the Attorney, but also an Atlas. But that's fine.
Again, objection.
Objection.
That's just that it's on the card. It's on the flavor text.
Yeah.
Not copyright.
No. I really like the card. The stats and the effect.
It's just
everything
the perfect on-curve card for 3.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine having that for 2.
I had the Izmir Out of Faction version of it, which of course is just the common. But yeah. It's the perfect 3 mana cost card. So we have to, as we said before, we do have to wait sometimes for the next hand to come around.
Yeah, if you would have picked something different in here, just let us know in the comments.
Oh yeah, definitely give us some info. Tell us what you think, what we might have done differently, what we could have picked differently, what you might have gone down if you didn't pick Ordis.
I know there are quite some people that have drafted a lot at the Gen Con event. They had the retail boosters there, but heard of one guy that went to 3 drafts and won them all.
Crazy.
I was like, wow.
That means
in a new game.
Don't cop out and say you'd all pick Bravos because of how Bravos has been really open in this video.
Yeah.
We know hindsight's 2020.
And look at that. There's some nice promo on there. The Sabash.
Which you ended up walking away with.
Spoilers, but yeah.
Well, no, again, it's not spoilers because we have the picking rule at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but can't say how long it's been there.
No. Yeah, for you guys to know, we drafted a lot in other card games, and we always went with a rule that we will lay out the valuable cards later on and pick them by the placing in the end. Yeah. So we think that makes up for a more quality draft.
And everybody walks away with a little bit of something and doesn't feel bad because they didn't pull a unique in their 4 boosters, for example.
Absolutely. Then probably the promo wouldn't have gone that far. I think that was one of the last picks in the end.
Yeah, because it's not a hero that you would think of playing, because Axiom was also relatively free up until... Actually
from the Axiom heroes, I think Sobash and Mamo have the best chance in
by
draft.
far the best, but in this particular draft, Axiom was not really up front as anybody's main color this time around.
Yep.
Arkelon Burst.
Yeah. So I have to point it out here as well. At that time, I mixed up the Kelon Burst and the seal thing.
Sticky note seals.
The sticky note seals. I thought like, oh nice, I got some removal for high cost cards here, and there's another copy of my removal for high cost cards. That's very wrong. It's the removal for 4 cost or less, and not higher. I messed that up.
Which
Later on in the
luckily
game.
we caught the second time around. But
Yeah.
it's not a problem. Just make sure to triple check what it says on your cards, if it is more than or less than.
Yep.
Well, that's a great final 3 cards. It's
Yeah, I
clear
just
what-
picked some nice drag queen over.
Yeah, just take the hero. What are you gonna do? Let somebody play the caddy gear and draft?
Yeah. So we go with the Keelan Elemental. I was like, yo, well, I might be into Axiom, and Keelan Elemental is a decent card. Maybe I want to put something in reserve at some point.
I mean, that's often the case anyway with the last few cards of any draft. You'll find your last 3 to 4 cards are generally either not your color, not very good, not playable.
Unless
Roll
you-
with the punches. Sometimes you get really lucky and somebody passes you that, like, yeah, I needed that, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the Frog Prince.
Did somebody pass you a Frog Prince as a last card? Did that happen?
The second last was in the pack before, right?
Oh yeah,
was
of
it
course
was it a Frog Prince or the Defender? No, it was the Frog Prince. Yeah,
Okay, that's just, again, you are a very lucky man.
I am. So lucky to have you as a friend.
Thank you.
So we are up for the last pack?
This
already?
is the last pack, yeah.
It's fast.
We have been talking a while.
It doesn't feel like it. Because I'm always excited to see draft picks.
You love drafting almost as much as I do. No, that's the other way around. I almost love drafting as much as you do. The Spindle is in there. I'm a huge fan of the card. Huge fan of the Spindle. I think it's one of the best landmarks going, but that's personal preference.
Yeah, it's on color. I would like to have my my guy safe, actually. My
Yeah.
bureaucrats.
Tough is extremely
Um,
valuable, I find. Barely any of it running around in draft this time. Tough was really, really sparse, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
And the fact
Yeah.
that it's the rare version as well, of course it is. It's all faction, but
I'm wondering. I know I get one. No, I think I Pikachu. I
no,
don't
thanks
want
for the
another
hero, by the way.
Drongo.
That's the hero I end up picking. I was
Oh.
waiting until the 4th pack to get him again.
Oh, yeah. You had it in the first draft. You picked it as well, right?
No, I picked the
Kaija Naura.
Taijanara, yeah,
Yeah.
because I needed the
What did it
boosts.
pick there? You just saw.
Did we miss it again?
we will see when the pack wields, because I'm pretty sure. No, I end up with a Spindle for sure. And it
Okay,
will
you would
probably
probably
not.
That was the only Spindle in the draft,
Yeah.
at least from rare form.
Yeah, from the round.
It's the
And
right
I
move.
don't remember to pick the Vanguard. I was considering the Vanguard because I do like the stats. 033 for 2. I might have picked it there and then the Spindles, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm also not a huge fan of landmarks in general, especially in draft. But we'll see that. There's
Yeah, I
another-
found playing Lyra Festival as well really clunky because it cost me a turn to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, right. And other people advance twice sometimes in that time. So we got some cards over there. There's an Off You Go, there's an Intimidation. There's also a Frog Prince. Really love.
There's a good few options in there for you, but you're holding the card so high this time.
Yeah.
You sort of drifted off to the left as the video went on.
Yeah, I think when I took a sip of my lemonade. It's a Frog Prince there. With an passing on Intimidation is pretty
I'm
tough because
Yeah.
it's very good against bureaucrats. So someone puts them asleep and wastes a turn to play them, then you
Ooh.
bounce them back to hand, and they.
What
Didn't get
was
any.
your thought process picking that over Intimidation at the time? As I personally I've been feeling like your removal options, you were still lacking a few. I would have gone Intimidation over another character at this point.
Yeah, but it's still.
because that
the
likely
Frog
would
Prince
have
is
wheeled
still-
around.
It did wheel around before, but yeah, could have been the Intimidation.
I would
there.
have risked the wheel around on the frog.
Yeah. We all know that. So there's an Order Spy out of faction rare, which is a good one.
Yeah, that's the good one, definitely.
But there's also a Kakoba, which I haven't seen before in the draft.
Is that the one that gets +2 boost
no,
as long
it's
as you
just
have?
plus.
Oh, yeah,
No,
it's the
+2.
common. It's +2, and I think the rare does.
It's +3.
It's
Yeah.
+3. That's a nasty card on any orders deck, especially in draft. I think it's a good card even for constructed.
It is.
Fantastic.
The rare especially.
The rare, particularly.
But the order spy is just very good here. It has
Because it
sabotage
gives
and
you
it
the orders
also
recruit. Gives you an orders recruit
Yeah,
from
when you
reserve,
play
which
reserve.
is even better.
So we went for the.
Weird how the reserve version is better for orders. The out of faction rare is better for orders than the in faction.
I'm not sure. Is it rare? I think the rare has the same.
Unless the red does the same thing. We don't have the cards list up right now, and there are a lot of cards
I
in this
think
game
it is
to
the
remember
same.
all their effects 1-to-1.
But I think there's some niche cases where this is the case. Well, there's the Thoth, which is a bureaucrat we don't have yet, and I really like it because it gives me token.
Yeah, that's pretty much an auto pick from that pack.
Physical training is also very, very good, especially when you have like a token and you want to play a bureaucrat.
Yeah.
And then put it asleep, and then someone wants to take over 2, then have the physical training to save the one expedition would be very good. But yeah, we go all in on the bureaucrats here. We got so many already. I got more than in the other draft. In the other draft, I got 10. I was very happy with that.
10?
Here we got 12.
Nice.
Oh.
And that's including, again, 2 different players who also picked orders as one of their primary colors.
Yeah, I think none of these. There's some rare orders, some rare bureaucrats I didn't saw. Actually, I think Scott picked them.
Damn you, Scott.
Yeah.
We love you though, bro.
Yeah. He's been a bane to all my drafts.
Every time he turns up, he's a whirlwind. Just trashes everyone and leaves.
Yeah. And then it's gone for another 4 months. So yeah, that's not such a great pack, I think. I didn't saw anything particular exciting.
Not good for you at all, is it? Though the mana channeling is.
I was like, maybe I picked the mana channeling, but then I just picked the Coppelia because I was pretty sure I will go into Axiom.
Okay, that's a little better for you.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a very tough pack again. So look at that.
Oh,
that's a rare Izzy
There's the rare Izzy talk.
That's
a
rare Bravos Tracer, which would really help me with my problems. Like I said before,
how do you decide between those? What goes through your head when you're like
everything.
One or the other?
Yeah, it was very tough because I didn't have an AC talk for the 6 cost because I think that's very bad. But with the Meadow playing this at 4 and put that asleep, then that's taking so much out of my opponent, and it won me a game.
Oh, did it? Okay. I didn't know the Izzy Talk had done work, which means you're going to be walking away with the Izzy Talk.
I will. But it was very close. I was pretty sure I want to talk about that. And the other players were still picking. And now I make sure that...
Yeah, I do remember you holding this up a while. I'm like, what are you doing over there?
But the Tracer is also the answer for my problems. I put 1 asleep, and my opponent feels safe to take over like 2. And then the Tracer comes in and rips it off. So yeah, it's decisions like this which I love the most. And most often later on, I think like, yeah, that was a mistake.
So coming down to the final picks from the final pair, what are you trying to polish off with?
Sometimes my curve, but I think in Altered you can't have too many low cost cards.
No, I've found that's generally the case. You could run a deck full of low cost cards,
especially if you have some resupply, card draw, and with the bureaucrats I got that.
Yeah,
I always got the fuel to put more stuff out. So yeah, it's not that much the curving out. I felt like now at the third draft, I'm cutting down more and more of the high cost cards. There was an Anubis, by the way. Yeah.
That is a fantastic pick to get that late.
Yeah. I was wondering. But also at that point, I didn't know that I will face, like, a little spoiler here, 2 Sigismars. There's actually
Great.
4 Orders players.
That would make 4 Orders
There were
players in
4
total.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Orders is great in draft.
Pretty much is. And yeah, against Sigismar, the Anubis was very trash. I was like, yeah, put I down. I want to sacrifice a bureaucrat I have lying around here, and you sacrifice a token. Maybe not.
You tried. Yeah, Anubis, I think somebody else played one on me, and that was really damaging because, of course, I'm not playing any tokens with the 3 factions I was running with.
Yep.
It did wheel back around, so you didn't pick it up, but
Yep.
you would now. 100%.
Yeah, I do. I'm very happy with that now.
Which is unfortunate. I think it would have done you some good.
Pretty much. But also, losing tempo is part of the bureaucrats' playstyle.
Yeah.
And losing more tempo can damage them very hard. We will put up a photo. I took a photo of my deck in the end.
What ended up being your final 30 cards plus your 29 plus hero.
Yep. Which was very tough at that point because I was very happy with the draft, and
anybody who's made it to this far into the videos will see he's picked a very good deck considering. Getting 30 cards out of that is going to be a challenge.
Definitely is. But also, I think I'm still not 100% convinced if the bureaucrats is one of the most viable strategies in draft. It always depends.
It's still early days.
Because it's very tough for. We're all new to Altered, right? We're all not that experienced, and I know from other card games, I know how to feel. I'm always a control player. I know the pressure of, it's getting very close. I'm very near to being defeated. we don't put violent language here. So no, we're peaceful card game of exploration. So in other card games, I'm more confident in knowing what could happen, but in this,
there's so much variation. You don't know what's gonna get smacked in your face next.
Absolutely. In my last draft, I played in the first round. I played against an opponent with 2 colors over there, and none of these colors could play any asleep cards. And then I put out my Kraken, and he his third color wasn't revealed at that point, and he put my Kraken asleep. I was like, yeah, okay,
wow,
that's something that can happen here in draft.
That Kraken is crazy.
And yeah, then I was just off. So that was a draft potion.
That was everything. Yeah, that was crazy. We got through it all.
We got it.
So we got a couple of things left to do before we close the video. We're gonna do our unique. We're gonna show off one of the uniques that we got from the draft.
Shall we take a look at the deck?
Oh yes, actually, let's do it in that order. Let's go ahead and take a look at the finished deck first. Then we'll take a look at the unique as we do in every video, and then we'll do our last shout out round. So, okay, on the screen now is the deck that you finished with and started playing in the draft, the 30 cards. Why don't you tell us what your thought process was on putting that together?
Yeah, for sure. At first, you just put everything on the table and see what you pick, and then get rid of the cards that were last picks and stuff. So we ended up with 52 cards.
In total, yeah.
In total.
It's choose from. I had a tough time.
Yep. And cutting down to 29 or to 30, right? Because the hero. So that's a lot. That's a lot to cut.
And we saw you had a lot of good cards. A lot of good cards.
So the decisions were quite tough, but I wanted to play all the bureaucrats for sure. I wasn't 100% sure on like the second council. But I think, yeah, if you have 12 bureaucrats, you want to run them. Obviously, I would have loved another bountiful meadow, but that's too much to ask from one
Too
box.
much to ask from one box now.
So I picked them bureaucrats first and saw how they lined up, and we see quite a lot of two drops over there with the 2 frog princes.
Yeah, there's a lot of low cost cards. You really didn't go above 3 cost.
Yep.
Not much.
I didn't want it to, because if I play like a 2-cost bureaucrat and put it asleep, my opponent feels already quite safe to win at least one expedition. And then I would like to have a follow-up and something to challenge them somehow.
Yeah.
Then we added some more of the 2 and 3 drops. It's all the rares. You see like all the blue crystals on the Bravos rares, which are pretty good, I think. The
You definitely got the best out of Bravos from there. The majority of your Bravos cards are rare. I think there's only Intimidation isn't.
Oh really?
Yeah, look. Intimidation is clearly the only com, but everything else. Yeah, no. You've got everything else is rare. You got the best of Bravos. Not bad.
We got in there. So, and then I was checking like, okay, how much removal do we want to play? Usually, like with the bureaucrats, I think it's a little bit more removal than I would do in like a Navenka deck, because you always play on curve. You play your big guys, get them anchored, or the small guys that get anchored and boosted. So I want to be quite flexible. The charge was still obviously there because I have tokens. I want to have the chance to have an overwhelming turn later on. I cut one of the teamfight trainings because I wasn't 100% sure if it always fits, and it was already so tight. I think retrospect, maybe I'm really not sure what to cut. Still, at that point I still thought the Keylon burst is 4 cost or higher.
At the time, yeah, which explains why it was in. If you had realized that it wasn't, would you have made it different?
I think then it could have been, one of them could have been the teamfight training.
I see.
Because that's basically the same for me most of the time. But maybe not. It's quite tough. I cut it out some of the cards. I don't recollect. It was the teamfight training was quite tough. Then some other low cost. There was some higher cost cards I had, like the 4 cost John Dark didn't made it.
No, I see the rares stayed in, but that makes sense.
And so I really wanted to cut down to 29 cards. That's always what I'm preferring.
For optimal draw efficiency, you try to do that.
Especially every game where I see the Bountiful Meadow early was obviously a different game because it generates so much value over the time. It's like having another mana orb. I played one opponent which had a tiny Djinn in his first round, and in my second round I got my Bountiful Meadow, and we went ahead. We went both this thing. He had one more mana orb, and I had one more mana orb.
So was still on tempo, still on set with him.
So yeah, that was a
crazy deck. It's good.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing it. I think it's still gets to me, like seeing my opponent moving forward and me staying there and being slow and sleepy with my bureaucrats and then slowly packing it all back.
You're gonna have to watch the video back on Tails Ven's YouTube channel for how that first round went.
That was some round.
That was a game.
There was some game of cards.
Again, link will be in the description below for the YouTube link. We don't know though when he's gonna be uploading.
But we'll let you know. So that's the draft portion.
That's the draft portion, and I would like to finish with the usual videos unique.
All right.
So we have here, and should be on screen now, Kuat the Dissenter unique. This we pulled today from the draft, and it's actually mine. I ended up retrieving this as part of my pickings.
Yeah.
And, well, let's just take a look at that. That's 3/3 on hand, 3 on reserve, 3/3/4 stats, which is definitely on and slightly above curve. Ysmir's water capabilities are actually okay, so the 4 is not really too special in that regard. And its effects from reserve, it can sacrifice 1 character. Don't confuse that with sacrificing any character of your choice. That is still your character. And when you play a spell, if you control 1 or more landmarks, target character gains 1 boost. Feels a bit like Aphanicus.
Yeah, which is an interesting mix-up of Aphanicus.
Aphanicus or Aphanas?
It's Aphanas.
It's Aphanas.
And Lindiwe.
Lindiwe, yeah. It's a mix of both.
Where you usually play the Kuvert for its high stats and
yeah,
because it's sacrifice. One of the sacrifice outlets. It says weaker stats than the rare version, which is just 5/5, but it puts so much more value on there, and it's also
that's a very good 3-cost entry without having to worry about having to sacrifice anything from hand at least.
That's the difference to the.
That is much different in comparison to the common and rare. Yeah, no, I would see this playable in Lindiwe or Aphanas.
Yeah. I agree. It's a pretty decent one. I would have liked it because
I passed this in the draft and I feel bad. I feel bad for
in the draft.
I passed on this in the draft.
Yeah, on the picking, I could have picked it, but I was greedy and picked the promo. And now I regret it a little bit, I think, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
There were a couple of uniques that would have made me happy there.
Yeah,
but
it was pretty good.
That one, well, that's the one I ended up with.
Yeah.
No, so. Okay, guys. With that being said, thank you for being my guest today.
It was an absolute pleasure. The hour ran away.
Oh, it certainly did. And once again, this is a collaboration. The matches part will be on the Tales of End YouTube channel, which the link will be once again down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. And see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.